Alright my friends, it's Grabsy and we're playing some Space Engineers! Today I am going to be showing you guys how to make a space elevator. And I thought what would be a good way to actually start this off is by showing you guys the space elevator in a fully functional state. So as you can imagine, this is what the elevator actually looks like. You have the bottom floor and the top floor. And of course you want to go from one floor to the next. Now, in the last video about the cable car, I actually mentioned that the premise of the cable car was something that we could adapt into making a space elevator. And I feel like the space elevator, in its full glory, is actually more efficient than the cable car. So what I'm going to be showing you guys is this space elevator and how it's going to work. And we're also going to try building one, so we're going to go step by step through it, alright? So, the space elevator, you got these two double doors over here. You could really just make it one door if you wanted a smaller one, but I made a relatively big, well, not that big space elevator. It only holds like two fat asses like me. So, let's call this elevator on down over here. Is it this one or that one? I think it's the second rotor that I need to turn on, if I'm remembering this right. There we go. And now that's cranking it all down, the rotor over here. As you can see, there's small landing gear attached to small chains, and it's bringing down the car. It's coming down sort of weird though, a little bit wonky, but that's the way of things. And now it's gonna stop over here, and there we go. Elevator, and we go on, and I'm gonna try to do this tutorial and talk about this all with the least amount of innuendos as possible. But now we're gonna have to climb up the shaft of this elevator, and we're gonna turn this off. We're gonna go into the rotor here and turn this on, and we should be going any second now. Yeah, here we go. We're going up to the next floor. It is a little bit wonky though, isn't it? We're sort of on a slant here. And I think if you're trying to build this thing, you'd have to build it a little bit more efficiently, or a bit more on the proportional side, so that it's not that wonky. But here we are. We're at our stop. And take a look at that. We don't even have to turn off the rotor or anything. We've got some landing gear up there that's preventing it from moving any bit forward. So there we go. We are on the second floor. And you can imagine that this elevator could be used for not only transporting people, but also aircraft. Now imagine a large ship with ships attached to these elevators, and then you just transport it from one deck to the next. Oh yeah, get to your battle stations. That's the sort of thing that I'm thinking about. And that would be really cool. Now, I was thinking about making this on a large ship, so I could have had, like, you know, a good example. But I didn't know that this default platform is a space station, and goddamn, I can't move this thing. I tried building engines, like breaking this thing separately and building engines on it, but it doesn't work because apparently this thing is a space station and it doesn't move. So we're gonna try recreating this elevator on a large ship, and we're gonna try to make it. How are we gonna do this? Okay, what we're gonna do to anchor it, and so that we'll make sure this large ship doesn't fly away, is we're going to do this like so. We're going to first start off with building our large ship, which is our first block over here. We're gonna just move these blocks on out just like this from the space station, and we're gonna connect it up. We're gonna connect this up with the space station, or large ship. And we're gonna use landing gear here to keep it in place. So now that we've got this in between each other, let's build. Shit, we need more space. Just like this, and something like that. And now we're just gonna guide it into place just over the space station here. Just like so. And we're gonna make a cockpit. Get inside, we're gonna lock it, and now we should be all alright. So that when we're building our elevator, we're not just gonna drift off with all these things rotating and whatnot. So, now then, how are we gonna make the elevator? Well, let's try to make like a replicate of what's going on over here. You gotta remember the measurements of things going on. And to be honest with you guys, I can't really remember the measurements, so we're gonna have to improvise a little bit. But we're gonna make it two pieces long. All right, we're gonna make it 2 pieces long, 2 pieces wide, something like that. Alright, so let's get straight to it. Let's make our entrance, or the outside of this elevator, white, just like this. And we're gonna measure our blocks over here, and so this is gonna be where the entrance is. We're still measuring our blocks. You could imagine that the entrance will be around here, and we're gonna go into the shaft, which is gonna be around there. Okay, and we're just gonna make a big block around like so. Okay, so now we're obviously gonna want this to have a shaft and move it on up. So we're gonna bring this up a number of blocks. We're not actually gonna measure exactly how many blocks it's gonna be, but we're gonna make it something quite relatively high. Let's go over onto this side as well and up the way. Make sure that it matches. Oh, and it looks to be just near enough the same height as the other one. How convenient. I did not do that on purpose. Let's go over here, and we're gonna have to make our doorway as well. Okay, so that's gonna be our door that we're gonna go into our elevator just around here. So it doesn't look completely the same as the elevator over there, but we're gonna get all the details perfected as we go along. Alright, so the first thing that we're gonna do is build the inner car, and to do that we're gonna build a small ship. Now we're gonna make this car a different color. Let's make it blue. I can't remember if the other car was blue as well. Gosh, I feel like I'm just making a replicate of things here. Just like so, and we're gonna measure as long across as we possibly can. Okay, but we still got a bit of space, so let's try to make this as tight of a fit as possible. And I think, to be honest with you guys, I think that's gonna be as tight as it's gonna get. So now we're gonna build this way across, lengthwise, and now the same sort of width, just like that. And oh, it's actually a little bit on diagonal, it seems like. So what we're gonna do is delete this, place it a little bit to the left because we need more space, and just something like that, just something like that. And now this is gonna act as the platform of our elevator. All right, and so now we're gonna have to measure the height, and again we're gonna delete it, put it into place just like this. So that's gonna be around the floor of it. We're gonna move this on up, and now we're gonna make our roof. We're measuring our roof of the elevator as well here, as you can see. Just because, like, if you come into this sort of block, you want it to be so that you just walk straight onto the elevator. You don't want to be able to touch the ceiling, nor the actual bottom part over here. So we're getting this. Oh, jeez, this is gonna be a bit hard to do. We're gonna have to actually, I think, go up and into it, because I did a little bit of a dafty thing there. I mean, we could have deleted some blocks, but I really just don't want to touch that thing at all down there, because if I do, then chances are I might flip this elevator on out. What the heck is going on? Feels like I just I have no orientation at all. Okay, so we're just putting our blocks, making the roof part over here. We're just measuring out stuff, and now we can just shift click our way to success. Okay, so we're gonna have to finish by making off the pillars inside, just over here, like that, and like that. And we could add in some rails. Actually, no, we can't add in rails, full cover walls, because they don't apply to small ships, which is what our elevator is. So we're just gonna make some block rails just like that, and that'll just prevent you from, you know, going off the elevator or whatever it is, just like that. Okay, so now we're actually gonna want to make this functional. We're gonna copy and paste this somewhere, just in case if we're gonna make a mistake and need it again, just like that. And now we're gonna make this thing functional. So what we're gonna do is fly on down there, and we're gonna start building the important piece of the chain itself. So as you've seen in the last elevator, it was sort of wonky when we were going up. It's on a diagonal, and to be honest with you guys, I don't know how to fix it, but I imagine that's all a matter of just making it proportional, so that the chains are pulling it up at an even sort of rate. So we're going to start off with by making, how many blocks do we want to make it? Just 2 blocks like that. And now each of the chains are going to be 3 blocks like this. Okay. And what we're going to do is just build all the way on up. Actually, it looks like we've made a little bit of a mistake. The direction of the chain doesn't match with the direction of the rotor. So if you could imagine the chain over here, it wouldn't go along with this rotor. As you can see, it just wouldn't go along the direction that the rotor would. Whereas in that elevator there, the chain was in another direction. So it doesn't mean that this is the end all. What we're gonna have to do is just adjust our creation. We're gonna build the rotor along the side over here instead. So let me build this up over here, and we're gonna make this one more higher, turn this rotor around, make this a different color, and there we go. Now the chain will actually go along the length of this rotor piece here. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so what I've done actually is just rebuild the chain, but I built it a bit more on the frontal side so that it was just really simple to attach. As you can see, it was very, very simple to attach. It's a little bit off center. If I moved it over to the right 1 block, I think would be perfect, maybe even 2 blocks. So you'd have to really just try that out for yourself. But the premise of this thing should work now. And what we're gonna do is I'm actually going to save the game because I might try to keep this for a future build. But what I'm gonna do now is dislocate that protector landing gear that I put in while you guys didn't see me put it in, and that just prevented the whole thing from going upwards whilst I was using a previous spaceship. But then, yeah, as I said, I just decided to remake the chain. But now we get to actually try out how this thing actually works. So, even before that, what we want to do is add in a stopper thing here. So by a stopper, I mean where we want our platform to actually stop our car when it's going up, the actual elevator itself. And again, what we're going to do is just build a small spaceship, put some landing gear on it, one on the side that connects to the elevator shaft, and one side that will prevent the ship from going any more further upwards and then into the rotor. So we're just gonna delete this and copy and paste it. Oop, we just bumped into that. Copy and paste it just like this. Now we want to put the bottom landing gear just a bit higher, than the rest of this, than the entrance, so that it stops just around there. Yeah, that looks perfect to me. Okay, so we're gonna now just quickly build a cockpit and attach this on down just like this. There we go, and it should be ready, at least on one direction. We haven't built the other direction, but that's okay. We're just doing this as demonstration purposes over here. So we're gonna save, and now we're going to actually make this thing go on up. So let's take this block on out. We'll make the reactor over here. Where are you? Just like that, and this gives us easy access to like a panel just at the side of the elevator. Okay, so we're gonna try to make this go on the negative, because the positive definitely doesn't work. There's a problem with that. So we're gonna try to make this go on the positive and see if it works. But I'm a bit worried. Yeah, this is a problem. Oh, actually we're going up. Hey, it's working. Nice. We're on a bit of a slant. But that's because of the way that the landing gear, or sorry, the chain is set up right now. The chain is a bit on like over here on the front, whereas if we made this a bit more even, like in the middle, then it shouldn't be unbalanced like it is right now. So we're just being dragged up along, and our stop is just up there somewhere. Come on, faster elevator. Yay, light the world to come. And we should stop because the landing gear is going to stop us. Yeah, it looks like it stopped us just over there. We'd have to adjust the landing gear a little bit higher so that it's more on the even side. But there you go, you got the premise of an elevator. And if you want to go down the way, what you do is you just build the whole chain system, but in reverse. So on the bottom side, and then move it on downwards over here. And that's exactly how like this elevator goes. See, it has a bit of an extended bottom side. It just goes in 2 directions. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed this. Elevators, elevators, elevators. Lots of potential with elevators. Until the next one, this is Krebsy, and I'll catch you guys later.